Welcome. Welcome, everyone, to the Radio Toons podcast. How is it going?
It's going great, man.
I'm Steve.
I'm Ernie.
Do I always start like that? Just saying?
Yes.
How do you... Okay. Hey, how's it going, everybody? I hope everyone's doing good and grand. I have a random little story. I was on my way to Ernie's house today because we recorded this at Ernie's house. Right. Eventually, we'd like to somehow do this over Discord, you know?
Yeah.
It's a lot more convenient.
Plus, we get to use two microphones, which will
it'll boost the quality.
Yeah.
You know? I went to the 7-Eleven by your house.
Right.
And the guy there was like this, he was some kind of Indian, like from those countries. I don't know specifically.
Like you talk about like India.
India. Yeah. I didn't know how to properly say like them. He's not Native American, like Indian.
No,
like an Indian
I know,
person.
But, yeah.
And he was like, oh, you speak Spanish? And I was like, yeah, I'm Mexican. And then he was like, no.
What?
And I was like, no, yeah, I'm Mexican. He's like, no, Korean. And I was like, I'm not Korean, dude. And he was like, he's like, yeah, the face, all Korean. And I was like,
what?
Yeah, and I was like, it was just one of the. You ever have these experiences where like you don't really understand what's happening, and I was just kind of like, okay, yeah, I guess, sure, whatever.
I'm
like
Korean, I guess.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get my drink and get the fuck out of here, dude. I don't know. Like I've heard Native American, I've heard Filipino, I've never heard
I've heard Filipino too.
Yeah.
Korean, never heard that one.
Yeah, and I was sorry to disappoint you, dude, but I'm Mexican.
If you're listening to this.
Yeah. I ended up getting I try not to drink a lot of soda, right?
Right.
But I ended up getting this drink because it caught my eye. It's orange vanilla Coca-Cola, and I've seen this around because one of my friends got like a whole pack of it, and he was like, "Dude, this shit's good."
It's so good.
But he had like the diet version.
That's gross.
And
he got the zero.
The zero one, and I was like, you know what, dude? If I'm gonna be tasting something like that, it's gotta be the purest.
You gotta get all that corn syrup.
If I'm gonna fuck my teeth up, it's gonna be with the best.
Right.
Fucking version of the drink or whatever, right?
What does it taste like to you?
Well, I love vanilla Coke. That's probably my favorite drink. Mm-hmm. And this tastes almost exactly like it, but with like a hint of orange, like aftertaste, you know? So, pretty fucking good, I would say.
I actually always compare it to, because I've when Cindy and I first saw the commercial, I was like, that sounds delicious. Because I remember loving Orange Julius at the mall.
Okay.
And thinking, oh man, it's great. Because it was like, I don't know what exactly it was, but it always tasted like it was just vanilla ice cream with some orange juice and some ice, and they would, mix it up. That's exactly what it tastes like to me.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Then because vanilla Coke to me always just tastes like ice cream. So that's why I've always been like, this is the greatest shit ever. Like, I'm not
but it's so refreshing.
It's pretty honestly good. Yeah, I mean, I don't know about refreshing because, like, I was drinking it right now and I was like, no, I gotta talk for like 30 minutes. I'm not gonna be able to do this because
if you're gonna be talking, you just want to drink
soda.
Water,
just like honestly. This diuretic, right? It it doesn't quench your thirst, basically, right? No. Soda just like whatever.
No, anyway, it actually makes you thirstier, from what I understand.
It's all right. We're not professionals here. We're just a couple of goons.
Bunch of goofs.
Yeah. So, as you guys know, I play Overwatch. I know no one else does.
No.
Today they had an event.
Right.
It's called Storm Rising, which previously they called Archives, and before that it was called something else. Mm-hmm. But it's basically like their event that kind of gives you backstory on certain characters, right? Mm-hmm. Last year was like probably my favorite one. It was this one where like you get to play as Reaper, McCree, Moira, or Genji.
Okay. And
like they're just basically like they're a team called Blackwatch, and it's like a
that's about the time I hopped back on.
Yeah,
that was a great
little
multiplayer.
I really enjoy all these story mission things that they put into their events. Mm-hmm. Honestly, wish they did way more of them.
It takes a long time to animate.
But yeah, it does. I know that because this one in particular apparently took 6 months to make. So
dang,
whatever. Yeah, but it has a really nice stage. Mm-hmm. Not just that, the intro like cinematic might as well be like a fucking animated short, dude. It's really? So awesome. Yeah, it's like it's like Tracer chasing these guys down on a motorcycle.
And I saw that. Yeah, okay.
And she like jumps on the back of the truck and she's like beating them up and stuff. And then like Mercy swoops in and like blinds them with like her staff somehow. Like she creates light. It's so awesome. Like if you're a fan of the Overwatch characters, it's like and you want to see more of them, basically.
Right.
This event is like it's so good. Unfortunately, they don't have like skins that coincide with the story this time around.
Right.
Remember how last time they had like McCree Blackwatch and like Reaper and
with the beanie and everything? Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, so this one does. They're all in their normal skins, but it's kind of like whatever. But they did release more skins outside of that aren't related to the story or whatever. Okay. McCree got a really cool one. He got one called Deadlock, which if you don't know, that was the gang that he started with Ash before he was in Overwatch.
Right. And he still wears that stuff.
Yeah, basically what got him into jail.
Right.
But he looks reformed. Cool. He's wearing like a leather jacket and he's got like a cowboy hat, obviously. Well, and he's got like the bandana on that says Deadlock, and his gun looks a little more traditional, just like a regular gun. But
so he doesn't have the like custom one that he has that's kind of
cool. It looks a little more like a pistol, honestly, but it still has a hammer on it. And it's got like a little skull at the base of it.
Is it like okay? So the regular barrel he has is it has like 2 barrels and it's.
It looks
flat.
like a huge revolver.
Okay.
No, that's how his regular one looks.
Yeah.
This one is more like I don't know. It doesn't look that much like
a it looks like a 6-shooter then, right?
Yeah, I guess. It's hard to describe, but so his gun's cool. He's wearing like regular jeans, and he looks like a lot younger. Well, his hair is like a little longer.
Probably no gray.
No, he doesn't have gray in the regular costume, so...
He doesn't?
No, but he looks badass.
Why do I always picture him as, like, grayed out?
I don't know.
Oh, you know what? Probably just mixing him up with Reinhardt.
Yeah, maybe. 76 got a costume that's badass. He's like in a Marines-looking thing. Mm-hmm. The ones where they have, like, the white hat and, like, the blue suit with the medals on it. Mm-hmm. He looks like one of those guys. Ash got one where she looks all regal and fancy because it's supposed to be, like, her pre-story as well, or her prequel story, whatever. But yeah, lots of good stuff. I really enjoy it. But like I said, I wish they just had more of these things.
Of course.
Because anytime I get like a glimpse into the story of Overwatch, it's like fucking interesting as hell to me.
It's crazy because they're building like this big universe with like little bits and pieces of everything, and as you play more and more, you get more and more story, which makes the characters that more interesting.
There's like a little hint at the end of the mission too at like a new character. That's what it looked like.
Was it a guy?
No, it was like a Talon guy. Well, I mean, I didn't want to say it was a guy because it kind of looks like a robot. It's a Talon robot thing. So I don't know if it's like a Talon Omnic or something, but...
Ooh, that'd be cool.
Whatever it was, it looks pretty cool. So yeah, whatever. We'll see. But yeah, really cool stuff.
Yeah.
In other news, apparently Reggie joined Twitter. This
Yeah.
isn't a big thing, but Reggie joined Twitter.
Because he was leaving Nintendo.
Yeah, and I guess at this point he's just like, fuck it.
Well, I mean, he's essentially he's retiring.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he wants to probably have Twitter so he can keep up with Nintendo. Plus, I mean, if they ever do anything, he can retweet it and... just keep up with the fans.
Yeah,
he has full-time fan stuff now.
Kind of like how Kojima, like after he left Konami, there was like a whole year where he was kind of just like, I'm at PlayStation today. Like, what's up? And he would just like take pictures with the people that like were making like PlayStation exclusive games, or like he would just be like, I'm at Nintendo today. What's up? And he would just be there with like Nintendo reps or whatever. So maybe he's gonna do that. Maybe he's just gonna do like a Reggie's world tour, Can
I just say something right now? Because I think it's so great. Game developers, game creators, and even game media spokesman, whatever you want to call Reggie, I love that they can be celebrities now, just on their own.
Yeah.
Like Kojima left Konami, and people followed him somewhere else because he's... Like, he can be a star on Twitter.
He's got that prestige. He's got that reputation.
It's just so great. I love it. And now Reggie can be followed. Just we don't, like, with some of our game creators or somebody who's done something that you love, and they just kind of disappear. Now they can be like, hey, having a scone, blah blah blah, and you can kind of see where he's at whenever like he feels the need to communicate with us.
Yeah, I was telling you this on the when we were playing Mario Brothers 2. Mm-hmm. But I was like, if there's any recent trend that I like nowadays, as far as like gamers go, it's that like game directors have become like little celebrities.
Yeah, totally.
And when people really care about a game, they know the director's name. Like before Devil May Cry 5, I don't think anybody knew who Hideaki Itsuno was. But when this game was in development, people were like, "Dude, who's this guy? Who's in charge of this bitch? Let's see what he's all about." Or Hideki Kamiya. People know Hideki Kamiya now. He, Wonderful 101, Bayonetta, Okami, Devil May Cry creator. Or like Yoshiaki Koizumi. He did Mario Odyssey. Prior to that, he did Majora's Mask and all this other stuff. But it's just like these names that people know now, and you'll constantly hear.
You know what this is becoming, right?
What?
It's becoming movies. Like now, it's like, hey,
yeah, kind of.
Some of these big name, like Steven Spielberg. You got like the guy who did the Stanley Kubrick. All these different people who now you're gonna follow their careers. It's like this is their game careers. Like the guy who did Super Smash Brothers. What's his name again?
Sakurai. Masahiro Sakurai.
Yeah. Like you're gonna follow him on his next adventure.
That's a good example because I feel like when Smash 4 started and he was doing like those Smash reveals and he became like the face of Smash Brothers.
Yeah.
Like everyone knows who Sakurai is. It's
totally.
almost as like it's almost as known as like Miyamoto himself, basically. Like
almost because honestly, like he's taken, in the past for Nintendo products especially, it's always been like Shigeru Miyamoto. He's on this one, so it's gonna be good. Blah blah blah. But now he's almost relegated enough of his. Like, that the talent that he's picked to be on these different ones, now he's having them step into the limelight a lot more. And as you notice, Shigeru Miyamoto's been stepping back. Like, he hasn't really been, like, at the forefront because he wants, like, these young kids to take over for him.
Yeah.
So, like, now the Super Smash Brothers guy, now, by the way, I love all the memes of him not sleeping ever. Yeah. Those were hilarious. But now, like, we have this whole gaggle of directors that we really love. And now it's like, ooh, he's directing this game. I'm going to follow that now instead. And it's always like you're saying, it's like a little celebrity added to the game, essentially. Which is like very much becoming like a movie thing, Yeah. And I feel like that's the kind of art form that people are starting to follow.
Yeah, I could see that. But yeah, so go check out Reggie on Twitter. I don't know what his handle is, but I'm sure it's just like...
I'm sure if you type in Reggie, it'll
Twitter,
come right up.
Yeah. The old Reginator. Okay, so on to something that's controversial because I don't really like to talk about Star Wars on this podcast.
Not too much.
Only because it's like politics to me now. Ever since The Last Jedi came out, I feel like it's a really like polarizing conversation.
That is definitely true.
People are really heavy on both sides. People are really dramatic about both sides of the argument here. But there was a Star Wars trailer for the next movie, Rise of the Skywalker. What a name, huh? Like,
honestly, I didn't like the title when I heard it.
I was like, Rise of the Sky, like.
That's like, very specific, right?
Yeah, good for them. Finally, the Skywalkers are finally getting their movie. Rise of them, because the fucking last 6 haven't been about them,
Well, it's the Skywalker saga, right?
Yeah.
Honestly, it was a little, like, it's strange to me because it's so specific to a thing. Like, before it was, like, A New Hope. It could be A New Hope for anything, you know? Empire Strikes Back is like, okay, the Empire as a whole is striking back, not just Darth Vader or whatever. This was very specific. It's like Rise of the Skywalkers.
Well, people have had some theories. And one of the theories being, like, Skywalker is just going to be a term.
Okay.
So, like, maybe if, like, someone's training Jedi or something, maybe if Rey starts training Jedi or something, it'll be like, we are the Skywalker name brand or something.
As opposed to being a Jedi, they're Skywalkers.
Yeah, or something, I don't know. Like, these are just theories, obviously, but, like... Just looking for other meanings behind that name, basically, because
I think a lot of people are because of the. By the way, I didn't know there was such backlash for Last Jedi. It's not my favorite movie.
How did you not know that?
It's not my favorite movie, but I thought...
It's so hard to avoid that.
Well, honestly, it's like I'm just trying to avoid it all because I just want to see all 3 movies and see how it's all kind of placed together. You know what I mean? Like, because if you see the last one and the first one, you see it all put together, you might have more insight into why they did the second one like they did it, right? Mm-hmm. So, the director that was supposed to direct part 3, or what part is it? 6 or 9? I can't remember. He was supposed to direct 9, he fell out, so J.J. Abrams is back to 9. Yeah. So a lot of people are like, maybe he's going to retcon the whole Ray's family not being anything special.
Well, because I don't think he even necessarily needs to retcon it, because a lot of it can just be like what did what's that thing people were saying, like, oh, if you don't, whatever, basically they could just say like, okay, you know, Han Solo maybe not dead because you didn't see the body, you know,
okay,
or like Kylo, like Rey's family stuff. Kylo Ren said that he could have been lying to her, you know, like all this kind of shit that's just
right. But didn't she discover that on her own in the mirror dimension where she went?
I don't know where she was. Yeah, where she was
snapping. Remember?
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Well, here's the thing, right? You got 2 Skywalkers anyway. Like, you have 2 and maybe even 3 possibilities for Skywalker. From what I've heard, there's like a 3rd possibility. But Kylo Ren is a Skywalker, essentially.
Yeah, we know that.
And Rey's could be like a descendant of somebody else, like Obi-Wan or whatever. Like, not necessarily a Skywalker, blah, blah, blah. But, like, there's possibilities there.
Yeah. Here's my fan theory. Kylo Ren gets married to Rey, and she becomes a Skywalker. And and she gets up in the morning and she's
walking on the skies as she rises.
No, honestly, okay, I think you and me are probably the only people, and Kevin, who seem to like The Last Jedi.
Right.
I was like, sure, it has problems, but I'm not like. It was fun to watch. Like, what do you want from me? Like, it's
I mean, like
people are acting like
I didn't understand the amount of hate. Actually, that's probably what flabbergasted me the most, was the amount of hate for something that was. Honestly, it was visually stunning. That throne room scene is amazing.
Yeah, I loved it.
Scene. The context around it was always like the problem for most people. But that director was doing something very specific, where this is the formula that Star Wars has followed, and then he would just make a left turn. You know, he'd be like, "Oh, this is what Star Wars usually does. Oh, left turn."
Okay, you know what? I'm gonna compare. Okay, The Force Awakens. That was like Saturday Night Live. Okay. Saturday Night Live, it has some hits, but Saturday Night Live is not a gut buster. You know, Saturday Night Live is like pretty safe.
Hit and miss, would you say?
I wouldn't even say hit and miss. I would just say, like, for a majority of the show, it's kind of just like safe. Like, oh, okay, these are jokes.
Okay.
These are jokes. I get that.
All right.
The Last Jedi is like Mad TV. Okay.
Oh, whoa.
Okay, so Mad.
Oh, whoa, Steve.
Mad TV. I'm sorry if you were not born before like 2000, you won't understand this reference at all. But Mad TV was another sketch comedy show, and they were more like, they turned everything up, you know. So their highs were higher, but their lows were lower, right? You know, so if a joke didn't hit, it didn't fucking land for that whole skit. But when they had funny shit, I loved it. Like, I was like super into that show. So that being said, Mad TV was more memorable to me because it took risks and because it did all that kind of shit. Whereas like SNL was just like, yeah, all right, because that's kind of how The Force Awakens was to me too. I remember like kind of leaving the theater like trying to force myself to like.
Oh, was that a joke?
No, it wasn't. It was. I was really just trying to like okay, yeah, I'm excited about these characters, but it wasn't until like Last Jedi came out that I was like, oh, okay, Rey has a personality. And so does Kylo Ren.
Right.
They have like a really cool like relationship in that movie. Honestly, like they're the best part of the movie in my opinion.
That's definitely the big focus in the movie. Their like undefined relationship, even though they know they have some sort of connection.
Yeah, I love that about that movie.
Yeah.
So that being said, I mean, it's a fucking Star Wars trailer. It's like I think what's funniest is that all of the people that like 2 years ago were like, well, Last Jedi fucked up everything, I'm never going to see a Star Wars film. I'm like, I'm like, man, you couldn't go fucking 5 feet without hearing about that Star Wars trailer. Everyone's going to see it. There's no way like that shit's not gonna sell out for 5 weeks in a row. Like,
dude, are you kidding me? Like, if the Star Wars Celebration was last week, honestly, that's not going away. It could be Episode 9 could be the biggest pile of garbage ever, and people are still gonna be all over it. I guarantee you.
But, like, I didn't really know... Like, I didn't really analyze the trailer or anything. Mm-hmm. It starts off with Rey, like, running.
Yeah.
And then she jumps.
It looks like she's going to cut a TIE fighter in half.
Like she's going to cut her in half.
She's still using Luke's lightsaber.
No, it looks different.
No, it was... I'm sorry. Not Luke's. Anakin's lightsaber.
No, it breaks in Last Jedi. They're both trying to force it, remember?
Mm-hmm. But she has it.
And it breaks.
That's it, dude.
It looks like a new one.
Does it?
Yeah, to me, honestly, it looked like...
you should just put it back together.
It looked like Luke's from Return of the Jedi. So, like, she built her own, I think, is what's going on.
No, that's not Luke's from Return of the Jedi, that's for sure. Because it still has that cylinder, and it has, like, that 90-degree cut at the top.
You know what's going to happen here, Ernie? We're going to get corrected by everybody...
No, the only reason, like, Luke, the Return of the Jedi one has that, like, weird top to it that looks like a little lamp. Mm-hmm. Like, if you turn it on the side. It looks like... Look, listen. We don't know because it's just a trailer. So all of this is just...
But the lightsaber got destroyed in Last Jedi.
I understand that, but, like, there's nothing to say she couldn't put it back together.
She's just gonna make a new one if she knows how to put it together. Well, whatever. Okay, whatever. That was, like, the least interesting
You know who's putting shit together?
Who?
Kylo Ren.
Yeah, Kylo Ren's putting his helmet back together.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if it was, like...
Because
like
remember...
some kind of metaphor for, like, him, like, taping back the series together or, like, somehow, like... I don't know. But...
Maybe he's got to cover his face up again because he's such a failure. Mm-hmm. Maybe that's why.
Well, I think it's stupid, by the way. Like...
The helmet?
I thought in Last Jedi when he took the helmet off, I was like, this is cool. Yeah. Like, I like seeing him.
I definitely liked him without the helmet, too.
Like, I think the helmet... I don't think it looks stupid, but I'm kind of like...
I don't like the helmet. I've never been a fan.
It's why I didn't think The Force Awakens was amazing was because it was like... I'm like, this guy is just Darth Vader. Or, like, trying to be Darth Vader.
He's trying to be Darth Vader,
So, like, Last Jedi was, like, a step in the right direction to some degree, you know? And now that he's, like, fixing it, it almost seems like... So what? They're backpedaling now, or what's going on? Like, I don't... Whatever. Mm-hmm. But then you get a lot of scenes of, like, what looks like flashbacks, or, like, you know, Leia's still alive. I forgot about that. And then, like, Luke's doing the what is it called? The voiceover.
Right.
So I don't know if he's, like, a ghost.
Well, remember he said, we'll never leave you.
Or you mean when he says no one ever really dies. Or no one's ever really gone? That's
right, because remember he can visit her through the spirit thing. You know what I mean?
Apparently Yoda can too, and he can just summon lightning.
The sacred text.
Yeah. So
and then at the end, I mean, the end I interpreted as Palpatine laughing.
That's what a lot of people are saying, which I'm like...
Really?
Yeah, which I was like... I guess
somebody made it Rich Evans laughing, and I thought that was fucking
hilarious.
That's awesome. It just goes to black and
that is so yeah, that's way better. I want to see that movie. But Lando's in it,
and he's back in the fucking Millennium Falcon. Yep. Yeah.
So I don't know, like
Billy D.
To me, it's like, I guess. It's not like I needed these characters to be in it or anything, but, like, I just don't understand how they're going to fit into the story, I guess.
Lando?
Like, yeah, like, I don't know.
Lando's just taking the place of what Han would be doing.
Okay.
You know, and Han and him. Han and him.
Him and Han. Han and him.
Sorry. Him and Han. Lando and Chewie are basically going to be the new Han and Chewie.
Okay, sure.
And they're probably going to do, like, a whole side mission thing where they're like, we gotta get this so that Rey can do a thing, and then Rey's gonna do the thing. Okay. Honestly, what I think is gonna happen is what is it? Probably Kylo's gonna turn to the light side. Is my summation, because
I would hope so. He seems a little too young to die,
right?
You know, like, so I don't think they'd kill him off.
But you know, that is how I mean, spoiler alert, I guess. That's how the Return of the Jedi ended, is Darth Vader turning to the light.
Yeah, so I don't know.
Maybe that's the full circle for Kylo Ren.
I just hope they do justice to his character, because, like, if I'm only looking at The Last Jedi and I'm only focusing on Kylo Ren, that was fucking great. I love Kylo Ren. He's definitely my favorite character in like this new trilogy or whatever. Because like I said, Rey seems a little like one dimensional to me. Like The Last Jedi did do a little bit for her, but she just kind of like, I don't know. She's just one of those good guy characters that kind of just seems good at everything for no reason. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
like,
yeah, totally.
Like, it's just kind of generic to me. But, like, Kylo Ren's the one that's, like... He's like the Vegeta, you know? He's the one training all day.
Right.
You know? Or, like, the...
he wasn't given anything.
Like Zuko, right? From Avatar. He's the one training all day. And for some reason, this fucking kid just knows how to do all the elements.
Yeah, essentially, it's like talent versus training.
Yeah, you know?
Because in each one of those things, it's like Goku is just born with that power.
Goku's just badass for no reason.
The Avatar is just born with that power.
Yeah. So
and the same thing here. Rey beat him because of her bloodline or whatever it is, you know? So
yeah, a little fun fact. I'm sure all the Star Wars fans already know this, but I just saw this in that movie details subreddit. That helmet that she puts on in the first movie, in The Force Awakens, she has like a helmet on.
Yeah, she starts pretending to play like she's
like a fighter pilot or something.
Yeah.
Apparently on the side of that helmet, like in whatever language, it says Rey.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, so it's
neat.
It's pretty guaranteed that's not even her name.
Oh, really?
You know, like that's basically just she read it off the helmet.
Well,
you know.
Yeah, we assumed that her, because she doesn't know her lineage at all. Like, she doesn't know where she comes from.
No, but in that flashback, she looked old enough to fucking speak, right? Like,
yes, but
so like I think she knows her name, but maybe somebody was just like, "Hey, you got that helmet on. Hey, you're Rey, right? That's you."
No, what I mean is, like, she's old enough to remember that part.
Uh-huh.
But it's like when you were a kid, you remember things that happened to you because they're traumatic, but you don't necessarily remember everything from when you were a kid.
Okay.
So if you haven't been called that your whole life, you don't know that that's your name.
Sure, I guess so.
Yeah.
But I just thought that was a cool little factoid or whatever.
She understandably, that was probably what they were trying to do. Is like, hey, look, it says Rey. Her name is Rey. You know, whatever. So that would make sense. Honestly.
Yeah. So I don't have any theories beyond that. Just wanted to bring that up because it took the internet by storm. It got like fucking 50 million views like the first day. So, I mean, anybody saying that they're not going to watch Star Wars, sorry.
They're lying.
No escape.
They're lying.
But yeah, I guess that's it for the Star Wars discussion. I thought that was going to go on for hours.
No, it's just a trailer, though.
I brought this up at work thinking, like, have you guys seen the Star Wars trailer? This is a yes or no question. And then it rolled out into this whole discussion, and everybody was like, fuck Disney, and they should fucking end. And I was like, whoa, dude, I'm just trying to see if you guys know who laughed at the end, or or if you guys
know who that laugh was.
Yeah, or like you guys have more insight maybe than I do. Like I don't know. Yeah, it looks cool. I'm definitely gonna watch it. I did see a movie this weekend though.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
When Steven told me about his review there, shocked.
You know,
shocked.
Yeah, okay. So I went to go see Hellboy. Okay? And you might be thinking, why did they make this movie? And I left the theater saying, why did they make this movie? Because it was a piece of shit, unfortunately. It wasn't good. It was actually a complete downgrade from the movie that came out like 10 years before it, which was directed by Guillermo del Toro. So fucking obviously the special effects guy is gonna be there, and like it looked great. And
yeah, it really did.
This one looked. I was watching the movie and I was like, this movie's all right. And it's just that kind of thing where like the more you think about it, you're like, yeah, that was stupid, or like, yeah, that was fucking stupid. And then like it just got to a point where I like, yeah, that movie was dog shit, and it can't really be redeemed. So, yeah, but yeah, I don't really know what else to say about it. But my friend.
Well, take me through it. Like, what exactly was the bad parts of it? Like,
I'll start at the beginning where my friend said, "No, let's not watch Shazam. Let's watch Hellboy instead." And I said, "All right, that's a good idea." So that was my mistake. First of all, mistake number one. I decided not. I opted out of Shazam. I went to go see this fucking movie. And they played. I didn't know this. The movie was rated R.
Okay. All right.
They played rated R trailers, which I probably haven't been to a rated R movie in a long time.
Okay.
Fuck. There are some unfunny movies coming out.
Okay. I know which two movies Steven is talking about because there's two like coming of age movies
they're just like
that are
super
like
bad.
They look exactly like the same movie.
Yeah,
and it's one of them has to do with three like middle school boys.
Yeah, that one's super bad with kids.
Middle schoolers, not kids.
Super bad with kids.
And then there's another one where it's these two girls who are both lesbians, but they're not together. They're just best friends.
And it's super bad with lesbians, exactly.
Right. And I saw both of those and almost like, because when I the first one I saw was the one with the kids, right?
That one's called Good Boys.
The Good Boys, all right? And that trailer starts with like Seth Rogen going, "Hey guys, you guys made a movie."
That's not the one I saw.
No, but I'm telling you, that's the rated R one I saw. And he's like, "But you can't watch the trailer because the trailer is rated R." And he's like, "What? We don't get it." Blah, blah, blah. I was like, and then I saw the trailer and I was like, "Oh, I get it. It's like what you're saying, super bad with like smaller kids." And then immediately after that, I saw the other trailer. I was like, "Wait a minute, this is like the same movie again." Yeah. It's like that's gonna really hurt both of these movies, honestly, because they're coming out like pretty close to each other. So it's just gonna be like they're gonna say that they're gonna be saying super bad with two lesbian girls, super bad with three middle schoolers.
I don't know, but this gigantic woman next to me, who was sitting far too close to me, was like laughing her ass off at both those movies, and I was like, man. Why did we see this movie? Why did we come into this theater? Like, and the answer is because my friend has Movie Pass and we got the tickets really cheap. So I mean, I'm planning on watching Shazam like next weekend though.
Okay.
But real quick, if you really want to know why Hellboy was just not good, it was like it's another origin story basically. They have to go over why he's here and all that shit, right? Mm-hmm. Which is always boring. It starts off with like all these medieval people, and they cut up this lady and they put her in boxes because she lives forever or whatever, right? That's how they get her out of.
Okay.
That's how they put her out of commission. And I assume this is all from the comic books because it was written by the guy that did the comic books.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Which, if you didn't know, just because something's written by a comic book writer doesn't necessarily mean it's good. A lot of comic book writers are wackos. If you didn't know that, which is why like Marvel just cherry picks what they want when they do their movies. Cause
are you saying that Alan Moore can't write a movie script?
Alan Moore's a good writer, but he's a comic book writer.
It's a different medium.
Yeah, exactly. That's my point. Is like you get Frank Miller to do Sin City. It's not going to be like whoa, like same amount of quality.
You and I are artists, but that doesn't mean we can paint like an oil painting, you know what I mean? It's
sure.
Not a we're this kind of artists, you know.
Yeah. Well, yeah, like movies, whole nother beast, whatever, right? The special effects right away you notice that are not good.
What?
Yeah, in Hellboy, like he's fighting these giants at one point, which I was trying to like in my head. I was like, yeah, this kind of looks cool, but it's the green screen's really obvious, the CG is really obvious, and like. It just looks like a step down from what came out before.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
That's really disappointing.
There was actually like so right in the beginning, he fights against this like wrestler guy who turns into like a weird bat thing.
Okay.
Which looked pretty cool, in theory, but then like the CG was kind of bad, so I was like, yeah, whatever. Like too much CG already. There's just too much of it.
Wow.
He's laying on the bar, right? Hellboy's drunk. He's passed out. This little scorpion like comes across his hand. Mm-hmm. And it looks like fucking Jason and the Argonauts, like style.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like I was like, what is going on here? Like, it's like missing frames. It's like it was animated on fucking on 12 frames per second, like animated in twos. It looked like really weird.
Wow, that's actually very surprising.
Yeah, and I was like, you couldn't get a real fucking scorpion, like
just crawling across.
Yeah, like I don't know. Okay, whatever. The story is also like really boring. It takes way too long to get started. He meets this girl that's like his accomplice in the movie. She's not like his love interest. He's like this girl that he knew from when she was a baby.
Okay.
Now she's like a spirit medium. She has like these magical powers that, whatever. She basically, when there's a dead body around, she puts her hand on them. And their spirit comes out her mouth, which I'm sure looks really cool in comic book form or in any other form, but whatever.
I'm guessing it didn't look cool here.
Just looked kind of weird. And the actress that played that character was so fucking annoying for some reason. I don't know what it was. Something about her face like really bugged me. I don't know. I don't know why.
I gotta look this. Keep going because I'm gonna look this up.
I don't know. I don't know what it was. But at one point in the movie too, she just starts punching guys, right?
Right. Okay.
And when she punches them, their spirit comes out. And then Hellboy is like, "Oh, how did you know you could do that?" And she's like, "I don't know. It just kind of happened, you know." And to me, it just felt like one of those like I don't know, like it just felt like bad writing. You know, when a scene just feels like bad writing, that's what it felt like.
Oh my gosh.
What
was her name? Nemu, the Blood Queen? No, right?
No.
Okay. Then it was
Alice.
Sasha Lane, Alice, something or other. Mm-hmm. Wow, really? Huh?
She just had, okay, if anybody wants to go look up who that was, it's Alice from Hellboy. She has like this, she was just not sitting right with me. But probably the only good part of the movie though was at one point Hellboy gets summoned to this place out of nowhere because, like I said, it was like, seems like bad writing. They just didn't know how to get him from point A to point B, so he just magically appears in this area.
Okay.
With this demon that looks like a house, which looked pretty badass, honestly.
A demon that looked like a house.
Yeah, it was just like legs.
Like
if you've ever seen Howl's Moving Castle, that Ghibli film.
Okay.
It's just like this thing on legs, but it was like a house that moved, right?
Okay.
So he goes inside it and he talks to the woman inside it, and she looks like a fucking Bloodborne character. And she was probably the only practical like effect in the whole movie. And she looked really cool. And they try to strike a deal or something. He's trying.
Is this the Blood Queen?
No. Okay. Stop bringing that up.
Well, I just read that some actress played the Blood Queen.
Yeah, it's Mila Jovovich, which I don't like either. She's the girl from the Resident Evil movies.
I was gonna bring that up right now.
Yeah, which is like, what fucking terrible, whatever. Bad choices made throughout the whole film, basically.
These are all bad choices.
So he's trying to negotiate with this Bloodborne character, and eventually he tricks her, and she's like, "You fucking bitch," and he's just like, "Yeah, I'm out of here, sorry, lady." And this whole scene where he's like conversing with her turns into like a mini fight scene, which was pretty cool. Because I was like, oh, that's pretty awesome. Just like that switch in mood, I guess, right? And then she starts commanding her house to move around, and he's falling around inside the house.
Oh, that sounds cool.
Yeah, which eventually she's just like, she has like these weird like knives on all her limbs. She walks kind of like Voldo from Soul Calibur. Yeah. She like clamps onto the floor, and she makes the house basically like lean upwards and spit him out. But that was like the most interesting scene in the movie, and I was like, that was probably something that was like super badass in the comic books. Like, this movie had cool concepts, and that's how you could tell it was probably like a lot of the source material, right?
Right.
But just like a lot of the execution was really fucking bad, and especially like the end of the movie too is like very. It's kind of anticlimactic, and it's very like lackluster. Like, like it's almost like every Hellboy movie he turns like fully demonic, and he looks badass for like 1 second, and then he goes back to Well, they have a scene like that. He grabs. I didn't know this, but apparently the story of Hellboy is that when he grabs the Excalibur, he brings the apocalypse. That's his like destiny or whatever.
That's what that symbol is, where he's grabbing the.
I don't know if that's what it is, but he basically like. When he grabs the Excalibur, he looks so badass.
Does he grow the big long horns?
Yeah, he grows the long horns with the flaming crown floating in the middle of his head.
Right.
And I can't stress how badass he looks for 1 second before, he's obviously like, "No, I'm a good guy." And he like, and then he throws his sword away like an idiot. And then all of a sudden everything's back to normal. All these he unleashes hell for like a second, and all these cool looking demons come out. But again, it's like they're CG.
Right.
Like conceptually they look cool. They were probably ripped straight from the comic book. They look like weird vagina monsters. Like, I don't know how to describe them. They had like their heads were kind of like, they look like, for lack of a better word, they look like vaginas. Their heads look like weird mouth things.
But that open up in like sections, right?
Yeah, and then like their like legs. Some of them had like spiky. They didn't have feet. So just imagine like
bugs.
Yeah,
like
I guess.
Bug's legs?
I guess, but they were like bipedal, so they were walking on two legs. So they were stabbing things as they were walking.
Oh, cool.
Which was kind of cool, yeah.
Sounds like a Devil May Cry thing, honestly.
Yeah, it did look like... honestly, that last scene kind of did look like Devil May Cry. But it was all too little too late, as they say. And I was just so, like...
He's like, no, I'm a good guy.
My friend fell asleep during the movie, dude. And I was like, we could have seen Shazam, dude. What are we fucking doing in this movie? But yeah, and then there's...
That's disappointing, man. I was really like, and that's the guy that plays Hellboy is the guy from Stranger Things.
Yeah, what's his name? Dan? It's not Dan, is it? Something Harbour?
Well, the character's name is Hopper. Is that what you're
Yeah, Dennis Hopper's from Stranger Things, but the actor's name is...
His name is David Harbour.
David Harbour, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he looks the part. I mean, honestly, like, that's what sold me on the movie, first of all, was the costume looked dope, and all the trailers had a very like dry sense of humor, and he was just like, "ID, please." And then Hellboy's like,
the comedy was
kidding me?
The comedy was so weird, dude.
Was it?
It was because it seemed to really clash with like the mood of every scene that it was in. Like there would be like this really emotional scene, and then Hellboy like tries to turn off his touchscreen phone, and he breaks it because he's too strong, and he's just like shit. And I'm like, what?
Wow, that sounds really terrible. Like the comedy in the other one was like quips that Hellboy would say while something is going on, obviously, but it's usually during the action scenes. Like remember in the very first part of part 2, he's like, "You woke the baby," and he takes out the gun that has like the baby printed on the side of it to shoot. And I was like, that's funny, you know, because he has like little quips for everything. And
well, I mean, I get that's what he's supposed to be because in human years he's only like 20. He's like some odd million years old or whatever, but like he's like only 20 or something. Weird
in this
like
movie?
Yeah.
Okay.
Not millions of years old, but like obviously when his dad finds him, his dad's like 30 and then he's like 80 and he still looks like he's like...
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Like that's from the original movie, right?
Yeah. It's just... It's weird too because when I think about both movies, the first one, he still feels more like a real person. He still, and I don't know if it's because he had a love interest in that movie.
I think that helps.
It does, yeah, because he's talking the whole time in this movie about like how his father this and his father sucks and that, whatnot. And I'm just kind of like, yeah, I'm not really feeling it, dude. Like,
is he supposed to be like an angsty teenager? Is that what you're trying to say? Yeah,
that's how he is in the first one too. But like the father issues and his romantic relationship and all that seem a lot more real. They seem like they were given a lot more time. Whereas, like, this one was, like, somehow it didn't have enough time, even though it was fucking 2 hours long, you know? Like,
well, the first one also had this nice little way of introducing us to everything because, you know, the guy that was joining the organization, he became our window into the world of Hellboy, which made it easier to get to know everybody by section. Did they have something like that in this movie?
You're right, they did have that.
Yeah,
and that was really good.
That's very helpful because you can tell a backstory because, like, this guy,
he's like
everything explained to him, and that feels natural.
Yeah, you're right.
You know, and even the story, like, even though they did the very beginning of Hellboy 1, they do the little introduction, but that's done in, like, 5 minutes, and then they flash to the newest part. Like, oh, look, we found this little demon.
Yeah, even the introduction was better in the first movie, too.
Yeah.
Because it's like he sees a... Well, I don't want to recap the whole thing, but basically when his father finds him, he gives him candy. Yeah. And they have that throughout the whole movie.
That's a staple of it.
That's like this whole thing is like, oh, he likes this kind of candy. And,
like Baby Ruths.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, no.
Yeah. And like when he found him in this one, he was just kind of like, I don't know, it didn't really seem like he had any motivation. He was just like, oh, let's keep that fucking crazy thing. Whereas like in the first one... And the first,
he genuinely cared for us.
In the first one, he was just like, no, don't shoot. It's just a child. Like,
yeah.
And then he used a little candy and lured him over, and he got the jacket from one of the guys, and he wrapped him like a baby, and he held him.
Yeah.
And
that humanizes him like 1,000,000%. He's like, dude, that's dope. Let's keep it.
Yeah. This one was more just like, oh, what the fuck? Let me keep that thing. Like, weird.
And then he became his father.
Yeah. So yeah, I wouldn't recommend Hellboy. Not at all.
That's disappointing.
Yeah, but I guess if it's on Netflix at some point, like, something tells me this was gonna come out to fucking Blu-ray real fast. You know, because
they'll probably push it again when Stranger Things 3 starts up again.
Yeah, that's true. Well, any final thoughts, Ernie?
My only real thought for this one, honestly, is going to be like with the Star Wars thing.
Yeah.
It's fun to come up with theories. It really is.
Yeah.
But just remember that all this is just theories. Don't get upset. It's going to come out, and then you know what, guys? We're going to have a long break from Star Wars because there's going to be no Star Wars for a little while. Disney's taking a break from it.
Yeah, they said
so. Really savor this time that you have a Star Wars movie coming out in December. You know, so don't be so fucking dismissive of everything just because you didn't like the last one. It could be better.
It's just kind of like, to me, it's like at this point in my life, I just don't want to write anything off automatically. You know.
Listen, like, for the kids who grew up in the 90s and in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
We had the prequels, all right?
Yeah.
These are not the prequels, okay? So it could be worse, all right? You could be watching Hayden Christensen talk about how he hates sand.
Yeah.
And then watch him murder children. Like, you could be experiencing that. But no, you're not. Ray's not murdering kids.
If they somehow find a way to like loop in the prequels, that would be ridiculous.
I don't want to see Hayden Christensen.
Like, I know all the jokes are gonna be like Jar Jar, right? He comes in, saves the day, or something dumb that. But I don't know.
They're gonna lose everybody if they do that. Honestly,
I don't even know when it's coming out.
I think it's December, isn't it?
You would think, right? But it didn't even say it. I think it just said like.
No, it's gonna be December.
Yeah,
it's gonna be December.
Yeah, probably. I mean, whatever.
But yeah, that's my final thought on that. And then just for next week, as a tease, I guess we could say, I'm playing Hollow Knight for the first time. And, I'll have a full review next week because I think I'm about halfway done.
Okay, I'm still playing Sekiro, so I'm not going to play anything else until I finish that game.
I am calling bullshit on that because Cuphead comes out like 2 days.
Yeah, I mean, we could... Well, I don't know. I do want to play it, but it's like... I made this mistake last time. It's like I play too many fucking difficult games at the same time, and I don't finish any of them. When Cuphead came out, I was also playing Fury, and I was also playing Bloodborne. I only ended up finishing Cuphead because I had to fully focus on one of them. So,
well, I think you made the right choice.
We're gonna see what happens. But that does it for this week, guys. See you next week.
See you next week, guys.